want to talk about learning spaces in geography, and at this point I realised I should have worn extremely high heels, because my challenge in teaching spaces is I can never reach the whiteboard. So learning spaces in geography, that's essentially that we have the wide open world. For geography, fieldwork is our ultimate learning space. And if you look at the QAA for geography, you will see that fieldwork is mentioned more than anything else. How do we link that to active engagement and active learning? Well, when I was a geoscience student, we did a kind of tour guide fieldwork, and he was wearing those heels. And that's traditionally what happens, right? You get led around a whole lot of sites by the expert. Is that active learning? So that's really bad. So in terms of active engagement, so what we want to do, we want to have hands-on, small group activities. Okay? Our challenge here at Hallam, I'm looking at 100+ students in the field. Small group activity, that's challenging. So this is what we've done, and this is what we're trying to infuse through our geography, especially physical geography. So I want to give you a case study here. And this case study is level 4, core class, building skills and building content. Okay, and it's a residential trip, 3-4 days in the field. And what we've done, we've split those days into 6 times half-day activities with an instructor who has responsibility for each of those half-day activities. And students cycle through. They have groups of 20s, and they do different things each morning. Okay? Those activities are very much sort of skills-based, hands-on, scaffolding for other modules. I won't give examples now, I don't think I've got time, but we follow those up with evening sessions, which are informal. Students get to interact with all the tutors, and then we have a session back on campus, which is a kind of drop-in session. How do we assess all this? We have a standard field notebook, but that's related to those 6 half-day activities and all those tasks. So there are different tasks, and those go into the field book, and they get formative feedback from both of these sort of sessions here. This is a bit messy. Anyway, why do we bother? Why do we do all of this? Why don't we just stick to the tour guide? Well, from our experience and from student feedback and from the work that we've seen the students do, and from the academic literature, this is why we bother. Firstly, so why bother? Firstly, we've seen that this kind of small group field activity builds confidence in students. It builds skills. Secondly, we've seen that this is a good scaffolding exercise for our level 5 and level 6 field trips, and for student independent work and dissertations, because they're actually doing lots of hands-on, getting to grips with actually doing geography rather than watching somebody else pointing out geography. And, let's see, I've got 2 more to go here. It forms cohorts for students, learning groups, learning communities. It helps to build course identity. And students get lots of time with tutors in different kind of settings. So there's some student-tutor time, which both feed into course identity and cohorts. The other great thing we've discovered is that students love it. So our student satisfaction, to the end of the board here, is good. Okay, how am I doing for time? 2 minutes. Oh my goodness, I thought I was going to do that. I can tell you a little bit about what we do in our half-day activities then. We have traditional surveying type activity where students do beach profiling and then they have to create beach profiles. We have sort of an applied activity where students have to go and assess coastal management because our locations are coastal areas. We went to the Jurassic Coast last year and Dorset. This year we're going to the Scarborough region. We do a observational and identification type activity where students have to look for evidence of landslides. So there are lots of they're different half-day activities. Logistically, it's an absolute nightmare, and we have to kind of organise it down to the last T because students need to know where they are and what they're doing. But pedagogically, it works so much better than what they've had before, which is basically following somebody around and writing down the notes.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Sian.